Have you ever felt like you're trying so hard, yet no one seems to notice? You stay up late working, push yourself harder than most, but somehow all the attention always goes to someone else. And sometimes you wonder, will my silence make me invisible forever? I've been there. The early years of my career passed quietly. No one knew my name, no one applauded, no one cared. But it was during those unseen years that I learned one of life's most valuable disciplines, the discipline of staying unseen. Because while the world is busy proving itself, the wise choose to focus on building, like a seed buried deep underground, silent, but always growing. No one sees it every day, yet one morning it breaks through the soil stronger than ever. True success doesn't come from declarations. It comes from what you do when no one is watching. And in this video, I want to share with you 10 essential principles that will help you turn silence into power and let your results speak for you. Stay until the end, because Principle #7 might change the way you live and work from today onward. Principle #8, the power of being unnoticed. There will come a time in your life when you must accept that no one notices you, no one praises you, and no one cares what you're doing. And if you're not mature enough, you'll think that means failure. But the truth is, this is the most crucial stage in your growth journey. I call it the season of being unnoticed. The season when you're quietly building your foundation while the world chases noise. I remember once asking my mentor, how can I make people see my value? He simply smiled and said, Jim, if you truly have value, the world won't be able to ignore you. But first, become worthy of that value. Back then, I didn't understand, until I realized every great thing begins in silence. An athlete trains thousands of unseen hours. An artist paints hundreds of unfinished canvases. An entrepreneur fails countless times before one product gets recognized. No one sees the process, only the results. But it's in that invisible phase where they become their best selves. Today, many young people fear silence. They fear being forgotten, being unseen. So they rush to prove, to show off, to perform. But here's the paradox. The more you chase attention, the easier it is to lose yourself. The truly disciplined understand this. Power lies in focus, not in recognition. The strength of being unnoticed lies here. When no one is watching, you're free to learn, to make mistakes, to fail without judgment. You're not under the pressure of being seen, only the pressure of growth. And that's what helps you move faster than everyone else. I once said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for a softer world, wish for stronger shoulders. When you're still in the dark, don't rush toward the light. Use that darkness to sharpen your skills. Because one day, when opportunity appears, you won't need to be seen. Your value will shine on its own. Silence is not weakness. Being overlooked doesn't mean you're unworthy. It simply means you're in a stage the world isn't ready to see yet. Let people talk about you when they see results, not when you're just beginning. And in the meantime, keep working, keep learning, keep growing in the quiet strength of someone becoming powerful. Where are you on this journey, proving yourself to the world or quietly proving yourself to yourself? Principle #2, build in silence, let results speak. There's a certain kind of person you can always recognize in a crowd. Not the one who talks the most, not the one who appears everywhere, but the one who quietly works when no one is watching. I've noticed this pattern among many successful people. They don't waste time saying, I will do it. They just do it. They don't need to post on social media every time they start a new project. They simply move forward step by step, hour by hour, day by day. And then one day, when the results finally appear, everyone around them says, he's so lucky. But what they don't realize is that behind that luck were thousands of silent hours of hard work. There was a time in my life when things were tough. No one knew my name. No stage welcomed me. But instead of becoming bitter, I chose to work. I wrote, I studied, I trained my voice, I observed those ahead of me. And I told myself, if I stay silent today, my voice will carry weight tomorrow. That's a principle you must understand. Silence isn't emptiness. It's the space where you build. Every success is shaped in moments no one witnesses. Like a blacksmith, no one pays attention to the hammer sound while he's working. Only when the sword is complete do people admire it. But without those thousands of quiet strikes, that sword would never exist. Today, we live in a noisy world. Everyone wants to be seen, heard, and recognized. But what you really need isn't light, it's depth. Because light may make you stand out for a moment, but depth makes you unshakable for life. Working in silence allows you to focus fully on quality, not recognition. You don't need to prove yourself every day by saying what you're doing. You just need to let your results tell the story. When others are busy saying, "I will," you should be busy doing. When they're trying to be seen, you should focus on becoming skilled, because your silence today will be your echo tomorrow. I once said in a seminar, success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. Let that silent process turn you into the kind of person worthy of success. Because once you're good enough, the results will find you. If these lessons truly resonate with you, hit subscribe and continue this journey with me. A journey where we explore the principles that help you grow stronger every day. And ask yourself, if you stopped talking about your dreams for 6 months and only worked on them in silence, how much could your life change? Principle #3. Discipline is the true spotlight. We live in an era where everyone wants to be seen. People post, perform, and talk about what they're doing, but few actually finish what they start. They live under the light of attention, but they forget the spotlight cannot replace the light of discipline. I made that mistake once. In my early years, I also wanted recognition, to be mentioned, to be praised. But I soon realized the attention of others only lights you up for a moment. Discipline, on the other hand, illuminates your entire life. Discipline is a light that doesn't need a stage. It's quiet, steady, and unglamorous, yet enduring. And here's the paradox. When you focus on discipline, the real light begins to find you not because you chased it, but because you earned it. You don't need to chase the spotlight. You just need to light yourself up from within. Imagine two people starting a journey. One talks about their plans, shares their goals, and shows every step online. The other stays silent, working daily, unseen, unpraised. After a year, who shines brighter? Of course, the second one. Because while the first spent energy on image, the second invested energy in substance. I once told my students, discipline is the only lamp that can light the path to freedom. When you master discipline, you no longer need motivation. You don't need reminders, applause, or validation. You just need your goal and the next step toward it. Discipline makes you trustworthy to yourself. A disciplined person doesn't need to prove anything, because every day their actions prove it for them. And you'll notice their light is different. It doesn't glare, it doesn't shout, but it's stable and it never goes out. Today's world celebrates speed, but success still rewards consistency. If you stay disciplined, even with just one small step each day, you are moving toward the light while others run in circles trying to be noticed. Remember, the spotlight may shine on you today and fade tomorrow, but the light of discipline, it stays with you forever. It doesn't depend on others. It doesn't need to be switched on, because it burns from within. Once you understand this, you'll stop striving to be seen and start focusing to become. Because in the end, the world doesn't care what you say, it only cares what you've done. If no one could see you working, would you still have the discipline to continue? Discipline is an inner light, but for that light to shine, it must first take root, a stage where everything still lies in darkness. And that's why the next principle matters so much. The season of roots before fruits. Principle #4. The season of roots before fruits. Every one of us wants to bear fruit, to see results, to experience success, to be recognized. But there's one unchanging law of nature that many forget. No fruit grows before the roots go deep enough. I call this the season of roots. The season when nothing seems to be happening, yet underneath, everything is in motion. It's the season when the world thinks you're standing still, but in truth, you're digging deep, becoming stronger than ever. I remember when I was young, I planted a small garden behind my house. On the first day, I was excited. On the second day, I looked nothing. On the third day, still nothing. I started to doubt. Maybe the seed is dead. But my old neighbor just smiled and said, "Jim, the seed isn't dead, it's just busy growing its roots." That one sentence has stayed with me my entire life. You see, everything strong begins with roots. If the roots are weak, the tree falls when the wind blows. If the foundation is thin, the house collapses when the storm hits. And if a person lacks the foundation of discipline and wisdom, they crumble when opportunity arrives. So don't rush when your life hasn't bloomed yet, because you may be in your season of roots, the stage that looks still on the surface, but underneath, you're being nourished and strengthened. I once told my students, no success ever blooms without long days of silence, boredom, and persistence. You'll have days when no one calls your name, days when no one notices your effort, days when you wonder, is it even worth it? But it's during those exact days that your roots are growing. Roots don't need an audience. Roots don't need the light. They only need time and consistency. And one day, when the roots are strong enough, the tree will break through the ground and reach for the light unstoppable. People will think you became successful overnight. But you'll know it was the result of years spent growing unseen. Success doesn't arrive faster because you push harder. It arrives when you've grown deep enough to sustain what's coming. So if today you're working hard but seeing no results, don't despair. Instead, ask yourself, am I in my season of roots? Because there are seasons when you're not visible, but you're being formed. Do you have the patience to stay in the dark until your roots are deep enough? Once your roots are strong, a new choice appears. Will you keep deepening your foundation or rush into the light seeking validation from others? And that leads us to the next principle: reject validation, choose mastery. Principe beige, reject validation, choose mastery. There's a subtle disease that causes many people to lose themselves: the need for validation. We want others to see us working. We crave compliments, recognition, numbers that prove we're on the right path. And little by little, we start living through the eyes of others. I was once like that. When I started my career in teaching and speaking, I wanted applause. I wanted to hear the claps at the end of every talk. But one day, I learned a painful truth. If you need others to validate you, it means you don't yet know who you are. I remember something my old mentor told me: Jim, stop seeking validation, seek capability. When you become good enough, the world won't be able to ignore you. That single line changed how I lived. I began shifting my energy from proving to improving. And from that day on, I stopped asking, do they see me? Instead, I asked, am I better than I was yesterday? There are two paths in life: the path of validation, bright, crowded, easy, but shallow. And the path of mastery, quiet, lonely, but deep and lasting. The one who seeks validation needs an audience. The one who seeks mastery needs focus and discipline. If you chase validation, you'll always depend on the emotions of others. If you choose mastery, you'll learn to govern your own. Today's world has made it easier than ever to be seen, but harder than ever to be skilled. Anyone can create the illusion of success, but few invest the time to build true competence. And that's why disciplined people always win. Because while most chase short-term attention, masters invest in long-term value. I want you to remember this. Don't seek the eyes of the crowd, seek the standard within yourself. When you focus on becoming excellent, every bit of recognition you need will come, but it will come at the right time, in the right way, and it will last. Those who seek validation live off the applause of today. Those who pursue mastery live off the legacy remembered tomorrow. Take a moment to reflect. How many times have you delayed something important because you feared what others might think? How many times have you abandoned your dream because no one supported you? And how many times have you changed direction because no one praised your progress? If you're truly serious about success, learn to work without witnesses. Learn to grow without an audience. Because when you no longer need validation, you'll start doing things truly worth being recognized for. If no one praised you, no one cared, no one even saw you, would you still move forward every day? Because it's in those unseen, uncelebrated years that you are being shaped and trained for the success ahead. And that's why the next principle matters so much. The hidden years shape the visible life. Quote, principle #6. The hidden years shape the visible life. Have you ever looked at a successful person and thought, he's so lucky? But what you didn't see were the thousands of days he lived in silence, the countless early mornings when no one knew his name, and the hundreds of failures no one cared about. The success you see today is only the surface. Beneath it lie the quiet years, the years that forged him into steel. I call this the hidden years, the years of obscurity, when no one invites you, no one praises you, no one needs you. But those are the very years that give you the greatest opportunity to rebuild yourself. I remember when I worked for my first mentor, Mr. Earl Schoaf. I wasn't allowed to speak or teach, only to observe. For months, I simply took notes, listened to every word he said, and after work, I would stand in front of a mirror practicing every line, every pause, every expression. No one knew I was doing it, but I knew every unnoticed day was preparing me for the day I'd finally be seen. The hidden years are when no one claps for you, but you learn to clap for yourself. When you learn to walk without guidance, to work without applause, and to move forward simply because you know you must. These are the invisible foundations of every great person. Once you understand this, you begin to value even the days when nothing seems to happen. Because in truth, a lot is happening inside you. I once told my students, don't curse the small beginnings. Every oak tree was once an acorn that refused to give up. Kut. The hidden years are where you learn patience, where you learn to master your emotions, and where you turn doubt into determination. Look at any artist, athlete, or entrepreneur. Every one of them had a hidden season, a time when they practiced, failed, corrected, failed again, and kept going. No one knew their names back then, but that was when they were being shaped. So if you're in that stage now, don't resent it. Use it, because those forgotten years are the very walls holding up your future. One day, when the spotlight shines on you, you won't tremble, because you've been ready for a long time. You lived through the years when no one cared, so that when they finally see you, you'll already be your strongest self. Are you wasting your hidden years, or using them to shape a stronger version of yourself? To stay steady through those hidden years, you must master one essential skill, protecting your energy from the world's noise. And that brings us to the next principle. Protect your energy from noise. Koga. Principle #7. Protect your energy from noise. We live in the noisiest era in history. Noise doesn't just come from outside, it also comes from within. The noise of comparison, worry, and doubt. Every day, hundreds of notifications flood your phone. Thousands of images rush past your screen. And if you don't learn to protect your energy, you'll lose the most valuable thing you have, your focus. I've seen many talented people who never went far, not because they lacked skill, but because they wasted their energy on meaningless distractions. They woke up and scrolled before they did anything of value. They let their minds be pulled by others' opinions. They read everything, listen to everyone, but stop listening to themselves. I once said, you can't hear the whisper of wisdom if your world is full of noise. Noise doesn't just kill peace, it eats away at confidence. Because when you constantly see other people's lives, you begin to question your own. The wise treat silence as a shield. They don't react to everything. They don't chase every bit of news. They know their energy is limited and must be spent only on what truly matters. There was a time I was trapped by noise too. I read every criticism. I cared about every opinion. And what happened? I burned out. One day I decided I will be silent for a while. I turned off my phone. I skipped meaningless meetings. I spent my time reading, writing, and reflecting in quiet. At first it was uncomfortable, but soon that silence became my source of power. I started to hear my inner voice again, the one that had been buried under the world's noise. When you learn to protect your energy, you realize that stillness is strength. It allows you to see more clearly, act more wisely, and live more intentionally. You don't need to respond to every noise. You don't need to explain every misunderstanding. You don't need to answer every attack, because sometimes silence is the loudest answer of all. Remember, your energy is your responsibility. Protect it like your most precious asset. Cut out what drains you. Limit time with people who bring only negativity. And each day, create at least one pocket of pure stillness, just for you. Where are you investing your energy in the noise, or in what truly matters? Because to protect your energy and endure the long journey ahead, you'll need one more vital quality. Patience. It's patience that turns discipline into lasting power. And that's what we'll explore in the next principle. Patience turns discipline into power. Cool. Principle #8. Patience turns discipline into power. Everyone admires the strength of discipline, but few truly understand discipline only becomes power when combined with patience. Discipline is when you act every day. Patience is when you keep acting even when you see no results. A disciplined person without patience will burn out quickly, but someone who practices both becomes unstoppable. I once met a young man after one of my seminars. He said, "Mr. Rohn, I've been working hard for 2 months, but nothing's changing." I looked at him and asked, "Tell me, did the corn you planted yesterday grow today?" He laughed and said no. I smiled and replied, "Then keep watering it a while longer and come back to tell me what happens." Success doesn't grow in 2 months. It takes a season sometimes, many seasons. And you must be patient enough to let your seed take root before it can bloom. Everything great in life has its own rhythm. You can't rush time. You can't force results to appear early. You can only keep doing the right thing every single day. That patience is what transforms discipline into sustainable energy. Without patience, discipline is a short-term action. With patience, discipline becomes part of who you are. I remember my early years as a speaker. I practiced every night, speaking in front of a mirror, recording my voice, refining every pause and breath. But no one knew. There was no stage, no audience, no income. Only patience and the faith that one day my moment would come. And when that first opportunity finally arrived, people said, "You're such a natural speaker." Oh, but the truth was I had simply been patient enough to train for years in silence. Patience doesn't mean waiting passively. It means working while you wait. It's continuing to build while others give up. It's moving slowly but steadily because you know you're moving in the right direction. The impatient live in anxiety. The patient live in confidence because they know time is working for them, not against them. I once told my students, don't confuse movement with progress. Impatient people jump from one thing to another and end up nowhere. Patient people pick one path and walk it to the end. If you're tired, remember, every seed needs time to sprout. If you don't see results yet, remember, every mountain takes time to climb. And if you doubt yourself, remember, every great journey begins with small, repetitive steps that seem meaningless until they aren't. Do you have the patience to keep planting even when you don't yet see the sprouts? Because when patience and discipline unite, a moment will come when you no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities will chase you. And that brings us to the next principle. Emerge only when you're ready. Principle #9. Emerge only when you're ready. Life follows a strange law. If you appear too soon, you'll burn yourself in your own light. But if you mature quietly, when you finally rise, your light will never fade. I've seen many people rush to show up. They're not skilled yet, but want recognition. They're not stable yet, but want to lead. They're not ready yet, but want to be seen. And as a result, they burn themselves out through expectation, pressure, and comparison. I was once like that. In my first year as a speaker, I was too eager. I wanted to prove I deserved the stage. But I wasn't ready, no real experience, no story, no understanding of human behavior. The result, I failed. Not because I lacked potential, but because I wasn't ready. So I stepped back. For 2 years, I focused only on learning how to speak, learning how to think, learning how to live. No one knew what I was doing, but I knew exactly what I was preparing for. And when the invitation came again, I wasn't nervous anymore. I wasn't afraid. I had changed. Because this time, I didn't need to be seen. I was ready to be seen. You see, the world doesn't reward those who show up first. It rewards those who show up prepared. Everything in nature has its season. A seed doesn't bloom in winter. An eagle doesn't fly until its wings are strong. And a wise person doesn't emerge while still in training. If you rice too soon, you break. If you wait for the right time, you soar. The truly successful are not the ones who are seen the fastest, but the ones who prepare the longest, because when they step out, they don't need to announce, "I'm ready." The world recognizes it in their presence. Let your achievements be your introduction. Let your skills speak louder than your declarations. Because when you're truly ready, you won't need to shout, your results will whisper it for you. I once said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And it's just as true that when the person is ready, the world opens the door. So don't rush to appear. Be ready first. Don't search for a stage, build your skill. Don't chase an audience, prepare your craft. Because when you're truly ready, the stage will come to you. Are you trying to appear to be noticed or preparing to be truly recognized? And even when you are ready, there's one last truth to remember. Staying unseen doesn't mean you stop preparing. That's the essence of the final principle, the gem that completes this entire journey. Stay unseen, but never unprepared. Principle #0. Stay unseen, but never unprepared. There's one truth I've learned in over 40 years of life. Just because no one sees you doesn't mean you've stopped growing. Absence doesn't mean stagnation. And the fact that no one knows your name yet doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. The world doesn't always notice what's growing, but time always honors what's maturing. When I was young, I often felt it was unfair. I worked hard, yet others got the praise. I kept learning, yet no one seemed to notice. And I used to ask myself, why are they being seen while I'm not? But one day, I realized something profound. They were seen because they were showing off. I was unseen because I was preparing. And that preparation, not the attention, was what changed my life. Success doesn't demand that you be everywhere. It only demands that you be ready when opportunity knocks. Opportunity doesn't care how beautiful, popular, or loud you are. It only asks one question. Are you prepared? So don't worry if no one sees you today. Worry only if you've stopped preparing. I've witnessed many people fail, not because they lacked opportunity, but because when opportunity arrived, they weren't ready to seize it. They wanted the spotlight, but didn't have the foundation to stand in it. And that same light, instead of making them shine, revealed how unprepared they truly were. If you're in your invisible season, see it as a gift. Because invisibility gives you time to practice, to learn, to fail, to adjust without judgment. It's your sacred time with yourself. Use every day to sharpen your skills, strengthen your discipline, and shape your mindset so that when your moment finally arrives, you can smile and say, I've been waiting for this day my whole life. I once said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Quote, never stop preparing because you never know when the door will open. And when it does, only those who are ready will walk through it. An athlete keeps training even when there's no competition. An artist keeps creating even without an audience. An entrepreneur keeps learning even before the deal appears. They don't wait for opportunity to begin. They prepare so that when opportunity arrives, they're not starting from zero. So wherever you are, whether forgotten or hidden in the dark, keep preparing. Keep training, keep working in silence. Because everything you're doing today will speak loudly at the right time. If the biggest opportunity of your life came tomorrow, would you truly be ready? Remember this, the world may not see you, but God, life, and time always see what you're doing. And when your moment finally comes, you won't need to shout to be noticed. Your results will speak for you. If today's principles truly resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and share this video so that others too can awaken and find strength in silence. Comment below, I am preparing in silence. Write that sentence as your personal commitment to the journey ahead.